So today we'll look at just another example on while loops. Specifically, I would like to talk about a concept called a sentinel value. Okay, a sentinel value. Okay, so a sentinel value is just simply a value that allows you to repeat an action over and over. Okay, so let me give you an actual example. All this time you've been running the program. Once you finish executing the program closes. Okay, it would be nice to create a program that exists or does quit when you want it to quit. You can imagine I open, let's say this program which I've opened here. The moment I execute a program, then the program closes on its own. That's what's happening in our programs right now. So a sentinel value will help us to run the program over and over until we want it to exit. Okay, so me saying over and over, that should already tell you something to say it's an action that repeats itself. So if it's an action that repeats itself, we are obviously going to need something like a looping structure, like a while loop, a for loop, anything like that. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is that we're going to say we're going to put everything that we want to do inside our program. Okay, everything that we want to do. Okay, so let's say um, um, I can have a couple of users. Okay, so okay, so I can say puts and uh, enter your username. Okay, let's just say username and password so that we don't type a lot of things. Password, what am I writing? Password. Okay, so then we can say scanf, but we need variables, so we say int user1, okay, and user2, right? Okay, so then I can say is equal to 0. Let's user1, we can give him something like his user is 2020. Okay, and user2 is 2019. Okay, then we can initialize more variables here actually. So password user what's wrong, user1 is just 1. Okay, and copy that, password user2, like that. Okay, so I have initialized all the variables here. Okay, and now I can say percentage %d, how many are they? I can copy this percentage %d, so we'll only get 2. Okay, so that's a username and password. So the first time you type username, and the next time you're going to type the password, and this was supposed to be password for user1, and this is password for user2. And then we can declare another variable int user, okay, which will be equal to 0, and int password, also initialize it to 0. Now we're doing this so that we can, these variables here, these two variables are what are the variables where we're going to store this data. Okay, and then we're going to compare these variables with any of these if they match. Okay, so we can say percentage user, okay, and percentage password. Okay, so that should allow us to enter the username and password. Okay, so once that happens, I can say okay, switch. I can use switch, and I use user, whichever user logs in, switch, like that. Now we all know switch has got default like that. Okay, this default comes with a break, okay, like that. Right, so then we can have case. Okay, the first case would like it to be user 1. So case, in actual sense, I'm saying 2020 here. Okay, and break there. Okay, so what should happen if the user, if this is user 1? Okay, then it should, then we can have, you can put an if inside also. Okay, so once it goes inside, you can say if the password that you entered is equal to password user 1, okay, then you can do some stuff here. Let's say I can say print f 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. I'm just printing some stuff. You can do whatever stuff you want in there. Okay, then I can have case 2, this case here. I'll just copy that, paste it here, and this is user 2, and I'll compare with the passwords like that. If this password is equal to that, then for user 2 I'll say 2 plus 2 is equal to 2, and that's equal to 4. Okay, so if the user is authentic, it goes in, and then password, if this is not true, you can say else. If the password is not valid, else. Okay, else you can say credentials are wrong. Okay, since we did that, you can copy that and paste it here. Credentials are wrong. And then if the person doesn't get this correct or that correct, we can get that and paste it under default and say credentials are wrong. Okay, so now let's try to run this program. Hope there are no errors. Oh, there's an error here which okay, so it says error 15, case label does not reduce to an integer constant. Oh yeah, okay, so on switch statements you don't use variables. Okay, you can only use constants. So in this case, instead of us saying user 1, we say something like 2020 as user 1, and case 2 we say something like 2019. Sorry about that, I forgot. I thought we were dealing with if statements. Okay, so let's try and run it and see if we've got errors. Okay, so no errors. So it says enter username and password. So what we'll do is we'll just enter 2020. Okay, and it's waiting for password. Let's enter something wrong. It says credentials are wrong, credentials are wrong. So the other credentials is actually coming from this default statement here. Okay. Okay, so which it's not supposed to bring two of them, because when you look at case, it's only supposed to go in one of them. Oh, okay, so the problem is that we didn't have a break here. Okay, so we need to have a break statement after every case has got a break. Okay, so don't forget breaks, or you're going to have such problems. Okay, so the break helps you to just put things in the perspective that you're looking at. So in this case, it printed this was wrong and then that was wrong. So now let's try again. Okay, so we can enter 2020. So we got the user correct, and then let's get the password wrong. So it says credentials are wrong. Okay, so we can now let's get to what exactly we were trying to look at. Now you see, once we run this program, if we run it, okay, let's just try to get this correct. If we run it and okay, it just says process return 0 execution time and the program ends. A sentinel value will help you avoid such situations where you don't want the program to close prematurely. Okay, so what can you do? So what you can do is that you can engulf all these things in a while loop and let it repeat itself over and over. Okay, so we can say while open bracket. Okay, I open and I command close this while down here before the return, meaning all these things here are inside my while. Okay, so if I fold this, you should be able to see that everything is inside my while loop. And if I put true here, okay, if I put true and just run, let's put 1 and just run this program, okay, 2021, okay, you can see the program keeps repeating itself now. Okay, 2020, okay, 2019, 3 credentials are wrong, 2019, 2, okay, you can see the program now starts repeating itself. Okay, now we want to control this program. We want it to close when we want it to close, just like pressing escape or anything. When you want to close a program, you should be able to close a program. Right now the program keeps repeating itself without us closing. That's where something we call a sentinel value comes in place. Now when you talk about a sentinel value, you're talking about a value that controls the flow of your program. Okay, so we can initialize and say int sentinel value. Why am I putting spaces? Okay, int sentinel value is equal to -1. Okay, so this sentinel value must be equal to some value which doesn't which your program will not encounter, or a program that a value that your program will not have or will not affect the flow of your program. Okay, and we'll say we're going to initialize another integer and say int answer, or let's just call it decision. Okay, so int decision right now, let's say it's equal to 0. Okay, so we're going to say this decision which we're going to have here, okay, should not be equal to sentinel value. Okay, so for as long as this decision is not equal to the sentinel value, this loop will continue moving. Okay, it will continue over and over and over, okay, until I don't know. Okay, so now okay, I hope you do understand this. We're saying that this decision, which right now it's 0, okay, this decision is not equal to the sentinel value, 0 and -1. Okay, so this sentinel value can be anything. I've just chosen -1 because I'm most likely not going to give decision -1, okay, or anything. If this decision is equal to -1, then this program will not go inside this while loop here. Okay, it won't go inside the while loop, and it will just say return. Okay, so at the end of this program here, okay, at the end of this program here, you can see we have switch statements here. So at the end here, I can ask the user and say put, and say, do you want to exit the program? Okay, then I can say scanf, right, scanf %d, and I can say decision. Okay, don't forget ampersand there, int decision. Okay, put some instructions here and say put, and I can say press 1 to press -1, or not press, I can say enter -1 to quit, and 0 or any other number to continue. Okay, so we have sentinel value which is -1. We don't want this decision to be equal to -1. So and then at the end of the program, once we do run all these things, we can enter ask the user if they want to continue or they want to stop the program. So let's try to run it. Okay, so it says, as usual, the first thing, enter username and password 2021, it goes in. Then it says enter -1 to quit, or 0 or any other number to continue. What do we want? We want to continue. 0. It asks again. Okay, 2, and it asks again. Okay, so this time let's enter -1. When we enter -1, you can see now the program quits, or the program stops. So this is the whole concept on sentinel value. Okay, you can the important bit here was this portion here, and using this while loop, and this bottom part here. Everything that was done in between here was just a way to show you some way in which you could have solved your lab or anything. Okay, just a simple way. I hope you made it better than I made mine here. Okay, so this is about sentinel values.